My name is James Brummett, and I'm here to talk about my experience that I had about 11 years ago after my partner Ron passed away. I knew him for around 9 years. Me and Ron used to have a lot of good times. We did this at Kings Island. He was still pretty healthy then, so he liked to go on a lot of roller coasters. And we had a dog, Roxy, and she was an English bulldog, and I really liked that dog. She was one of my favorite bulldogs that I've had. We would go out and have a lot of fun. He was pretty much my size, and we wore the same clothes, same height, same weight. He was 150, I was about 150. And then there at the time that he died, he weighed 98 pounds. And he got sick, and then he'd get better, and then he'd get sick again and better. And this happened so many times that it just got to the point that you never really thought he was going to die. You thought, oh yeah, he's sick now, but in a couple of weeks we'll be at the park again, doing stuff. But sooner or later, they don't get better. And that was rough. After he died, I kind of got really, really depressed. Didn't go out much. Just kind of sat around the house, watched TV. Pretty much just sat in bed. And one particular night, I had a really hard time sleeping. So I took my sleeping pill and anxiety pill that the doctor prescribed to me. And then later I remember waking up and feeling better. I got out of my room and then I walked outside. As I'm looking out, there's hills and just, grass as far as the eye could see. And I just remember feeling at peace. I didn't have just a care in the world. I just felt like everything was perfect, like there was no weight. And then I remember looking down at the grass, and the color was just like it was alive. It was still green, but there's more of it than what we see. And so I'm just staring at it. And then I noticed that as I'm looking at it, I could see each individual blade of grass as if I'm looking at one of them, but I could see them all at the exact same time. And I could see the veins, and the grass, the pores, just like you're looking at one under a magnifying glass, but, all of them. But I could see them all, and they were all just kind of lightly moving, not like you could say that they were dancing, but they were all just kind of just a light curve, just moved, and they were all independent of one another. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, if I wanted to, I could count every blade of grass in the field, but I had no desire to, so I didn't. And then I looked over to the right to that little group of trees that I was looking at earlier, and I noticed that I could see every individual leaf on that tree and all of the trees. And I don't know how you would describe, seeing every leaf. It's like I could look around every leaf and see inside the tree, the leaves that were on top of one another, but I could still see every leaf, and I could count every one on every tree. So I feel this presence, coming up to me on the left, and I look over, and in the grass in the distance, I see looks like a dog running towards me. And then immediately, I recognize, like, that's Roxy, the dog, that I had that died several years ago. And she's running up to me, and the colors on her were different too, the browns and the whites. There was more of it too. And as she's running up to me, I feel this, emotion coming from her, that she was excited to see me. Not just excited, but she was excited to see me. And she came up to me, and I, dropped down and started playing with her just like I'd always used to. I felt another presence coming off from the same direction that the dog just, came up to me on. So I stand up to see who it was, and there was Ron walking, towards me. And his face was bright, and he looked healthy, handsome, just like, magazine cover ready, as he's, walking up to me, totally flawless, like he was airbrushed in real life. He's smiling, and he's saying, "I'm not sick no more." And I felt, really glad to see him. And as he's, walking up to me, I'm feeling this emotion coming from him too, that, he was happy to see me. And I felt this presence of love, coming from him. It's the presence, you could feel, like, deep down inside your soul, that you knew that they loved you. We're hugging. And then he goes on to tell me that it wasn't my time yet, that I had to go back. And then I remember just raising up in my bed, waking up, and I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to process everything that happened, and I'm still feeling that powerful presence, I'm still holding on to that feeling of being at peace, and the love that I just felt. Just, ever since that happened to me, I don't really worry about if I'm going to die anymore, because I know where I get to go back to. Because over there's no anger, there's no hate, towards you. There's just love and acceptance and forgiveness. That's all that I felt over there. And I know if Ron and I if I could make it over there, many other people can too. I think, a lot of gay people hate, the church and Christianity from a lot of the stuff that people have been saying their whole life. If you, want to be good and want to go to heaven, you have to change yourself. But, that's not really what Jesus is about. He loves and accepts you for who you are. You're supposed to love each other. And if you hate each other, that doesn't work over there. That's just one place. No hate. It's hard to describe a place like that where nobody hates each other. Perfect.